So let me take a wild guess, all right? When you boot up your PC or your console, you just play the game, right? That's it. Another checkbox on your backlog, another speed run in the books, 2 more collectibles than you didn't have before. Let me pick your brain for a second. This isn't a book channel by any means, and in fact, when I was growing up, I was not much of a reader. I kind of read when I had to. I found some great books along the way, but I was more of a gamer, and I liked playing sports as well, but into my adulthood, I'm starting to reappreciate it a little bit again, and I've been reading this one book recently called The Cat Who Saved Books, and in a nutshell, it's about a boy named Rintaro Natsuki, and he owns a secondhand bookshop after the passing of his grandfather. And this talking cat just walks into his bookshop one day and says that there are people who are out there abusing books. And 2 specific examples, and this isn't really a spoiler, it says it in the blurb, are one who imprisons books in bookshelves or locked up bookcases, and another one who chops up the pages of books or cuts them or mutilates them in order to enable speed reading. And he has to navigate through these different labyrinths, and I just want to say, if this isn't the most Studio Ghibli-ass plotline you've ever heard, I don't know what is. But what really took to me is actually the first perpetrator, the imprisoner of books. And it is basically a bourgeoisie man who essentially just collects books and reads them a little bit and then locks them away in cases in order to appear educated, in order to appear like a lover of books, and feels pressured to consume as many as possible in order to benefit his own stature. And what I can say is this resonated a lot with me in terms of how I used to view games and how, well, the reason why I used to buy them. And this kind of inspired this mission that I want to embark on in 2026 and beyond, which is to game more deeply. I feel like we need to go deeper with gaming rather than just buying it, consuming it, playing it. We need to go deeper. I used to think that, as long as I get as many games as possible, I'll be a true gamer. I'll know about all different kinds of mechanics. I'll have the most exquisite taste in games, JRPGs, shooters. As long as I increase my quantity, I'll be seen as quality, as a gamer, as this identity, as a person who games, a hobbyist who games. But I knew that underneath all of these superficial goals, games impacted me on a much deeper level, and dare I say, even a personal and spiritual one. Because when I think of games like Kingdom Hearts, in which I have supposedly the controversial one here, but I think of a franchise that opened up my imagination as a kid and taught me to be open to different walks of life, different people, gave me this sense of adventure that I kind of carried into my adulthood. And in a lot of ways, I saw Sora as a second older brother to me, and he is the one who basically taught me about compassion from a video game. And I often talk and think about Dante from Devil May Cry and how he would boast and dance and taunt his scary boss battle monsters before engaging with them. And that was a lesson I learned in how to confront challenges with humor, with ease, with confidence. And I think about all these Zelda games too, and the ways that they impacted me. I mean, I think Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword even. I mean, come on, I played the HD version like last year, and it ain't perfect, but there's a lot that I reappreciate about that game now that I didn't in the past. And that's kind of what opened me up to this idea that games are not meant to just be consumed, played, whether it's half played, finished, whatever, completed, and to be thrown away or sold or forgotten about. I believe that games and their stories and their characters and the lessons within them are meant to be meditated on, reflected on, introspected about, written about. I keep a gaming journal now that I didn't think I would ever do. I literally write these book reports about games after I finish them. And it's just something that needs to be appreciated, and what I invite you to join me on as well. I feel like it's a mentality that I had when I was a kid, and maybe when you were a kid, but I lost sight of as this kind of inundation of tech, consumerism, digital game sales started to infiltrate the way that we game and the way that we experience games. But not anymore. Because you see, I played this amazing game called Eastward recently, and it's basically this pixel art, Ghibli-esque game about a miner and a young girl named Sam who just go on this trainward journey east and learn about dark secrets of the world. And it's the type of thing that will just make you laugh, cry, yell along the journey, and it is so beautiful. The music, the art, the characters were so charming. And you want to know something though? I actually had a lot of criticisms about the game as well. The dialogue is quite wordy at times. There were some loose plot threads in the ending that I didn't quite agree with, and it was just a very lengthy adventure in certain parts. But I couldn't stop thinking about it anyway. And I think that this is what we need to start doing with games, is saying, hey, I'm gonna appreciate this art because it is art despite its flaws. And what I would encourage with you is that if a game is speaking to you in any way, and Eastward is one of those games that was speaking to me for a while, I could never fully drop it. I always felt like, oh my God, I have to come back to it. I feel like it's calling to me. Continue to play it, see through it, meditate on it, think about it, write about it. And this is a new appreciative way of gaming that has changed the angle by which I view these experiences now. And I never thought I could experience and live through these adventures so vastly, so immersively, so seriously, in a way. And so here's what I plan to leave you with. And if you don't mind, I would like you to get in a little closer for this. Not every game you play is going to leave these kinds of impacts on you. From the way you do these things, to the lessons that you're gonna learn, to the emotions that you're gonna feel. But what I would urge is do not just treat your games as expendables, disposables, something to be played, dusted off, and forgotten. Because when you feel a game consume your mind, even when you're not playing it, to the point where you'll want to make a shitty vlog about it, case in point, that's when you know that you are now gaming more deeply, that your gaming is almost feeling weirder, deeper, more soulful. Thank you for coming to this little talk at the in-between, and I'll see you next time.